people buy based on emotion and they justify with logic. People are more desperate now for authenticity and relationship than ever. We're seeing this coming out in media, and research is showing this. And I think this is one, especially for women. And I had this conversation with somebody the other day, and they may not like it, but women tend to have a bigger ick factor when it comes to sales. I fell prey to this too. Years ago, right? Buy this next best thing, invest in this business coach, and all of a sudden, sales are just going to flood in. But here's the thing, you actually have to go out as a new entrepreneur, as a new founder, and you have to talk to people.
Built Different. You see me smiling. I'm really excited. Today, we have a sales psychologist, copywriter, and we might even learn a bit about how to manage our spiritual health. Today, we have Leah with us, and she's going to break down a lot for us on understanding better how sales work, especially online. So Leah, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. I reached out to you in the clutch, and you came through during this holiday season and said, you know what, Quintel, I got you. I'll be there. So thank you so much. How you feeling?
Quintel, thank you so much for having me today. It is really a joy and a pleasure to be here. I absolutely it was a Christmas gift to me when you reached out to me, and I got your social media, and I just see the knowledge that you have and the background that you have in building a business and showing up in the online space. And so I think that I just really want to pour into your audience because I've been there. Both of us have been there, transitioning from, working in traditional avenues to owning a business. And boy, is this journey, man.
Yes.
There's nothing, ladies and gentlemen, it is not for the faint of heart, let me just tell you. But boy, will it grow you in ways you have.
Yes, isn't that what they say? They say entrepreneurship is the best way to develop for personal development, right? So I totally agree on that one. I totally agree. So let's just dive right in, right? I was reading through your background. I saw you had a unique mix of spiritual health coaching on your website, but you're really known for copywriting, sales psychology, and conversion. So walk me through how you ended up at that intersection and how you combine those.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Quintel. So interestingly enough, I have two different degrees. I have one in communications that I got back in '99, right before I married my amazing husband.
Oh, congratulations.
I have been married to for 26 years. Thank you so much. And we have 3 amazing young adults who thankfully are still living at home. I love my children so much. But anyway, that's a segue. But anyway, my other degree is as a nurse. So I spent almost 2 decades as working in maternal child health and just shy of 10 years as an RN IBCLC. And I got a calling to come into the online space after the flood of our home. And so Quintel and I live very close to one another. So Ellicott City flooded twice. And in the second flooding of Ellicott City, my basement was destroyed. And I was kind of humbled down into realizing that I really didn't have the tools to thrive through that really difficult time. And so God kind of called me into the online space, and I didn't know what I was doing. Gracious, did I not know what I was doing. And so you have to, as an entrepreneur, you have to start learning all these different things. Like if you had told me sales was going to be something that I was going to have to do every day, all day to build a business, I would have been like, okay, this is not for me. No. Stop. But it's a refiner's fire. And I realized I had such a passion for helping people and serving people. And so I did embrace it. I did, fumble around and, did all these different things and really got to serve other entrepreneurs, 6 and 7 figure entrepreneurs, kind of learning the back end of their business, serving them in different capacities, and really starting to see, the complexity of what's necessary in the back end of a business to have a really good marketing strategy, copy strategy, sales system. right? And one book that I love for entrepreneurs to read is Ready, Aim, Fire, and also Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. And so those two books, ladies and gentlemen, go get them right now. Listen to them, absorb them, go to YouTube, listen to more of what Chris has to say. Because it's all about sales. It's all about, building that mindset of how do I serve my clients? How do I show up in the online space? How do I talk in such a way that my client feels seen and heard and wants to partner with me for their transformation, right? That's the key. They're in their minds, they have a need and they have a transformation. And I don't even care if that's just, you build funnels, right? There's still a transformation that they are personally, psychologically looking for when they buy that funnel. Okay. And that's one of the reasons why I really embrace sales psychology. And the mentor who I learned from, Mike Samuels, if you guys want to find him on LinkedIn. So I'm an action-based psychology consultant. So he was the one that helped me to learn even more, right? We know a lot about the fact that people buy based on emotion and they justify with logic. And so I was picking up all these things, and just to solidify the fact that, in copy, we need that emotional levers, but there's 63 psychological levers that we can start to utilize in our copy and in our marketing strategy to convert clients. And so I just absolutely gravitated to that and really, went all in and focused in on helping entrepreneurs, founders, service-based, product-based providers to really be able to showcase what they do in a way that resonates so deeply with their potential client that they become a raving fan.
I really like
life,
that because you talked about transformation, and we don't always think about that. We think about transactions more than we think about transformation, but everybody, whether you're a customer, whether it's B2B or B2C, you're trying to get from one place to another place. And a lot of times you're trying to avoid pain. People prefer they would do more to avoid pain than to acquire pleasure. And that's a transformation, right? Even avoiding pain doesn't sound like it, or it seems counterintuitive, but I really like that. So I'm glad you touched on that so everybody understand, all of the entrepreneurs listening. You are trying to get a transformation for the people that you're working with. And also, like Leah said, it's a partnership. So that's where more emotional words, Leah, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but more emotional words evoke partnership more so than transaction. Okay, great. So you're on the online space, and it can be kind of tough for people online because it seems like it's so much competition. There are a lot more people. That doesn't mean everybody's good, but they're there. So it's visible. It seems kind of challenging. What are some of the biggest gaps you see between what people think sells online and what works online versus what actually converts?
Yeah, I think founders get inside of their head about showing up in the online space and talking about themselves, and to the point where you were saying, a lot of founders worry, that the market's too saturated. Well, to alleviate that, you take whatever your service or your product is, and you find out how many of those units you need to sell. And then you will see that even if I only marketed to people in Maryland,
Come on now.
I would
That's
still be a six-figure entrepreneur, right? So we get in our head and we're like, oh my God, how am I going to fight against others? Stop it. I even saw Mark Cuban. He's like, I think about my competitors every day, all day. Stop it. No, you don't. Stop it. Because I don't need to think about anybody else except for my potential client. How do I speak to them? How do I show them that I see them? People are more desperate now for authenticity and relationship than ever, right? I mean, we're seeing this coming out in media, and research is showing this, right? So hyper fixate on removing the jargon from your language and researching the pain of your clients and speaking into that. How do I say, I see you, I feel you, I hear you, and I have what you need?
Thank you for that. That's something, hyperfixate. That is, I'm gonna take that word and we're gonna make that a quotable. We both gonna share that one, man, because that is, I found that that's true, and that's why I got so excited when you just said that, because the numbers are way bigger than what we think we may need. And I had a business coach, and they were mentoring me. They was telling me, like, if you work backwards from the end, and you think about what you actually need, most of us can only handle a certain capacity in our business. Even medium-sized businesses can only handle, by medium I mean over 500 employees, right? Even they have a capacity. So if you really think about your capacity to deliver, you don't need that many people to fill your books, to have a successful business, to have more demand than supply. So that was really great what you said. And the more you hyperfixate on the people you want to help and the problems that you can solve, you'll get better. That's a reminder to myself. So thank you for that. And so you're seeing a lot of this going on with your clients and your potential clients. And so now you have them, like you acquire your clients, you have clients now. So what's a typical week like for you? Where does your time actually go? And then where do you wish that your time was actually going?
Oh, that's a great question. For me right now, I am still in a building phase for my copywriting and my marketing consulting business. So for me, I am not at a point where I am referral based on. So you have to look at where your entrepreneurial journey is. Where are you, and how do you split up your time, right? So is your time split by, customer acquisition activities, right? Mm-hmm. And then delivering on that, right? So for me, every day I am looking at who can I reach out to, who can I talk to, how can I serve them, and then I'm working on client work, right? So that's how I split that up. I would say that depending on where you are, because here's the thing, Jeb Blunt, if you guys don't know Jeb Blunt, he's a huge sales guy. He says pipe is life, right? If your pipeline isn't robust enough, you are going to have massive dips in revenue as your quarters go. And you don't want that, right? So how are you going to have your client acquisition? How are you doing your reach out? What is your sales process like? And then how do you deliver your services, right? And then once you get to a point where you're robust enough, then you can add in a sales team, which I've done sales training for people before. And when you add in a sales team, then now you're taking more of the role of leadership and client deliverables as you build out.
Based on the phase you're in right now, is about 50-50 or a little more than on one side than the other?
No, I have two very robust clients right now, so I'm only spending about an hour-ish, 2 hours in client outreach and research, and then the rest has to be on client work. Great. So for me, that's kind of where I am. When I first started this, my entire day, right? Like if you're a brand new entrepreneur, right, your entire day needs to be filling out your Excel spreadsheet of clients that you are going to nurture, right? Because I think this is one, especially for women. And I had this conversation with somebody the other day, and they may not like it, but women tend to have a bigger ick factor when it comes to sales. Not all. I know there's some amazing sales women out there. Stop it. I know them. They're amazing. But even me, it took so much for me in the beginning years of my first, focused online business to really acquire that confidence, that courage, that unshakability, to really dial in to sales. So I do like, how Ready, Aim, Fire, he says, that's all you should be focused on. Like in a piece of his book, somebody called and called somebody up and were like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm looking at getting a computer system." He's like, "Looking at getting a computer system? I just invested in your business. You better be out there getting sales. That's what you need to be doing. A business never failed because of a lack of a computer system. They fail because of a lack of sales.
That's hard for both men and women. So thanks for sharing that the other side. It is hard, and that is. It took me a lot this year to learn, like, you need to be spending more time finding people, if that's so that your business can start taking off, or you need more sales. Like, you don't have a business if you don't have customers and sales. So that applies to everybody. So nobody's escaping this. Okay, if you have a business, you are not escaping this. You need to get sales. So thanks for sharing that. And so you spoke about two robust clients, and so you're doing a lot of work with them. When they come to hire you and you're working on either like sales pages or copy, or whatever type of marketing work they hired you for, is there a bit of your process that you can share with us, like how you diagnose what they have broken, how you're going to ramp up the language they use more, how you diagnose whether or not they're going to tap onto like these types of psychological triggers? How does that work for your marketing lead?
Yeah, great question. So I do have these strategies and these systems where I go in and I will work alongside of AI, right? Nowadays, one of the things that we're really blessed with, do I think AI will ever replace copywriters? Absolutely not. I don't. Like, an AI, it just has this hollow, almost soulless mentality when it comes to copy. And if you're a good copywriter, you will actually see, and the better, over the years as I've gotten to be a better copywriter, and I've tried to get AI to give me good copy, I have to fix it so much that it's actually like, it's my research assistant. It's my idea generation. It's my ability to plug in and say, let's look at this page of the website. I want to see this, this, and this. Is it missing loss of it? Is it, the different psychological systems that I'm looking for? And then I map out, what do we need? Right? What do we need from there? What strategies and systems can we plug in with the with the already existing products or services, and then what new can we plan down the road too?
I'm glad you said that about copywriting. So you have a unique advantage because you know how to write copy. A lot of business owners don't. They're really good at their jobs and their professions. And then some of us may be like kind of in between. But some people just know how to show up and be authentic. They don't even know how to do copy. They know how to connect with people. Right? So how do you know? I want you to give us what good taste looks like for copywriting, because nobody's going to believe me, no matter how much I write copy online, but they might believe you. So we know that AI is good for writing. It knows what to write and how to do it, and how to do it fast. But you know why to write what you write, right? And then how to go about that. So how are you kind of training the AI to do or find the right things, or to research the things that you use?
Yeah, I think here's the thing for new founders. Like, if you came to me and you said, because I've said this to a couple of people, you're not ready to work with me yet. You don't have an email list. Your margins are not there yet. Here are some strategies, right? So if you are in this place, whoever is listening right now, and you're going, oh my God, but Leah, I can't afford to just, have you write my copy. No problem. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go and research and get actual quotes of people talking about their pain around whatever it is that you do. And as you are feeding that to AI and you're asking for ideas and you're thinking and it's spitting stuff out, I want you to look at that copy and I want you to ask yourself and say, how does this make me feel? How does this make me feel? If you're just sitting there reading this copy and you're like, okay, then it's not going to work. Take what AI gives you and change it up. If you're so brand new, because there was definitely a day when I was like, so brand new to writing social media posts that, you guys would be like, oh my God, yeah, 7 years ago, my copy was, so take it and ask yourself, how does this make me feel? How do I want somebody reading this to feel? And start to edit it, right? And looking at your research, like you have to research Like the majority, I would say, and more time researching than I do writing. Right. Think about it. Because if I have the research, if I have the words that my actual client is saying, or the client for my client, their potential client is saying about, let's say, their perfume, right? Then they've done the heavy lifting for me. All I have to do is reword that and give that back out, and that will feel good to the reader. That will feel like
Got it. So
what they want.
that just made me think of something, and then we could jump into the next part. But like that was a good point. What you said, it can be very hollow when AI is giving you back results and outputs around like copy. So and it's made me think. I just saw Wicked, the second part of Wicked, and for anybody that doesn't know, it's like a prequel to not Alice in Wonderland. What is it? The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz. But so AI is the Tin Man.
Wizard of Oz.
Right?
Yes,
It can show up. It's strong. It can get things done, but it doesn't have a heart. Right? It doesn't have a heart. We have to put the heart into it. So when you read it, you have to give it the feeling, and that's the part that like the greatest thing, not the greatest thing, but the greatest thing you said about this is that you work alongside the AI, and people think that the AI just does the work. You have to work along with it so you can get the best results. So you heard it from a pro here. Not me. You heard it from Leah. So that's how you got to approach it. I'm telling you, you'll get the best out of it. Like this is coming from two people who spend a lot of time reading and writing. You have to work with it, right? And make all of the best stuff comes from the edits. That's what I find. So that's the.
Absolutely.
That leads me to my next question, because I don't know, people may not like this part, but what's the worst copywriting advice that you see floating around right now for anybody who's hopping online? Some of the things that the gurus may be talking about, or some of the things that you see that's like, no, that's not good. And you don't have to name names. But
What is? No. I wouldn't name names. What's the worst information? I guess I don't see enough of the edit what I gives you, right? Like I do see a lot of, gurus out there that are like, hey, just use these prompts and it's going to be great. Buy these templates from me and it's just going to be fantastic. And beginning of this year, I bought some templates from a copywriter guru that I thought was going to be great. And I literally almost cried. I almost cried when I read the templates that I downloaded. Mm-hmm. I paid, wasn't a ton of money, but for a brand new entrepreneur, $100 can wipe out their business bank account, right? Like, it's incredible. I forget which jewelry magnate who's now a billionaire. She started with $500. It's all she had was enough to buy the materials. And I find that a lot of bootstrapped entrepreneurs, that's what they do. They only have a few $100s in bootstrapping. So anyway, I think that was really, it really can be hard as a new entrepreneur. You're trusting someone that maybe has, 200K followers on YouTube and Instagram, and you think that you're going to get these amazing quality that's really going to help you, and you get it, and it's a mess. It's not even something that you can use. So I really think for new entrepreneurs, you have to be really careful what you buy into. And really ask yourself, can I lose this money? And if the answer is no, you can't lose that money if it's trash, if the product is actually trash, then you need to say, I'm not buying this. I'll do it myself. And it's okay to show up imperfect because you just are. You just are. I had somebody tell me, I had this sweet little girl in the online space. She said to me, Are you the Leah, the one who had the video for the this and this? Oh my God, it was such an ego feed, and it was so lovely because my dad had just died, and I was just such a ego feed. And I said, look, here's the thing, I said, if you look at my videos from 7 years ago to today, right? Like that's all we ever see when somebody goes big is the,
Yep.
oh, they're big. No, 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 no. It was 7 years of hard work. It was 7 years of learning how to phrase things and pause and to work with your
I like that. I like that.
posts.
So I just took a note to myself that I may have to create some content around the editing process. That's the part that most people don't see. So I'm glad you said that, and this is recorded, so you can do the same if you like. But that's something that's us looking at the pain point, right? That's what people probably are complaining about. Like, man, these templates are good, but how do I edit this so it feels like me? And some people need help drawing that out. So that just came to me, so I thought I'd share it. But the last thing about the difficult parts of this, right? A hard truth around like sales pages or funnels that people don't want to hear. So they may have invested in ClickFunnels, or they have something up online, and it may not be bad, but because you're a professional and you're seeing it from a different point of view, what are some of the hard things you may have to share, or that you have had to share with your clients of what they're actually using?
I think new entrepreneurs buy stuff like that before they're ready. They don't have enough of a sales pipeline to sustain something like that. So I've had to tell people that you have a cold audience, and if you think this thing is going to be magical and convert, I'm sorry to tell you that no, it's not. Like, you're not going to get the conversion. Like, I do think, and I fell prey to this too years ago, right? Just, buy this next best thing, invest in this business coach, and all of a sudden, sales are just going to flood in. But here's the thing, like, you actually have to go out as a new entrepreneur, as a new founder, and you have to talk to people. You have to introduce yourself. You have to think about it. I have to say, how are you going to meet, right? Like, how are they going to meet me? Now, sales can be done in many different ways. I'm a huge fan of video pitches. So if you go out and you're cold pitching people, you need to have an individualized to that prospect, right? How are you going to get enough sales and enough people on your email list to nurture them right? And I didn't even understand, I think new entrepreneurs don't even understand conversion percentage. I mean, they think, oh, if I have 100 people on my email list, I would get at least half of them to sign up. No, you're not.
Yep,
You're not.
That's so true. Like I said earlier, we gotta work backwards from the numbers, and the percentages are so low that it's discouraging. But the numbers in the world, of the amount of people that you could possibly work with, are so big that even if you don't hit the highest percentage, you can still be crazy successful. People don't believe like it's less than 5%, right, in sales conversion, depending on what you're selling. So it's great that you shared that. I appreciate that. So as we wrap up, right now you said you have 2 major clients that you're working with. As you grow your business going forward, 2026, 2027, what does success look like for you? Will you be training other people to use your techniques, or will you just be acquiring, more customers to like build out your business?
That is a fantastic question. Because I have a lot of knowledge of being in the online space and creating courses.
Really?
I actually have 7
nice.
books
We're going to link those in the description.
on Amazon. Yes, I do. For
Okay,
my
okay.
other No.
Okay,
It's
okay,
fine.
got it.
It's for my other business. It's for my other business that I shelved for right now. And I've also ghostwritten books for entrepreneurs. Like, I love doing stuff like that. And I love creating things that are going to be evergreen. So possibly that's going to be something in 2026. I'm being rather now focused, right? And I think that's another thing that as entrepreneurs, we do need to know when to be super future focused and when to be now focused. Right? For me, where I am in my business right now, I need to be very, very now focused, very now serving my clients, making sure that I'm delivering the absolute highest quality, building that, building my testimonials. That needs
Gotcha.
to be my focus right now. I build my marketing and copywriting business, right? So if you're brand new and you're like, oh, everybody tells me I have to have this massive marketing plan for 2026 or like, what's your 5-year goal? You are now focused. You are now building your pipeline. You are now delivering quality work. You are now asking for testimonials. You are now revamping your website, which, by the way, I don't have one yet. You can find me on LinkedIn or Instagram. But that's my future, right? My future is a website. And anything else that, God-inspired ideas will come down the line. Right? Now is my focus on, and I love my clients, right? And I love what I'm doing. And so, now is my focus to really get, especially the one client that I have who is launching soon. I'm so excited about that.
I like that.
That is my
that
now
is a
focus,
great.
right?
That's something that has been really helpful for me. Like I just kind of before the like at the end of the day, I'll write down what I'm going to do for tomorrow and like what is a successful day look like today. Or tomorrow. Not, I know I have that makes you directionally correct. You can say I want all these things, but today are you doing the things that put you on that path, right? If you want doing, like you said, client acquisition, and you need to be doing that right now, then you can't skip that. Like you really can't skip steps. So you have to know when to do now versus later. So I think I didn't expect that answer, right? Some people try to give like a big grand vision, which is good if that's their vision. But thank you for giving us and sharing a different side of how to approach the futures of our business. So as we wrap up here, I always ask, what is it that you feel makes you built different? To be an entrepreneur, to be in the online space, to be a woman in the online space who has great emotional intelligence, and then you may be online with a lot of people who don't. So what is it that makes you built, different and allows you to be able to share in the way that you do?
I would say one gift that God has given me that has made being an entrepreneur easier for me is that I am showing up live. Like this to me is fun. I have looked forward to this for days. And my mother wanted me to be a news anchor. And funny enough, I was a host on a radio in college. Communications was my first degree. And so for me, like my life journey of having already had the skills to show up live and to speak to an audience or to be on a stage. I love that too. That's a huge to an entrepreneur. Now, guys, if you're worried and you're like, oh my God, I can't, you're scaring the pants off of me to go live or to get on a stage, you don't have to. But I want you to work on that skill. Because one of the things that I definitely have learned is that everything is learnable. Okay? You can learn anything. I do not care if I'm actually pretty much an ambivert. I don't even like leaving my house very much. As much as I enjoy this, I will take some quiet downtime after because I give out a lot of energy. Like anything can be learned. We can acquire any skill that we need, right? And so that for me made it very easy. Also, I would say, being a nurse and sitting there listening and holding space for people's pain and understanding them emotionally and being of them has also really been another gift that has made my entrepreneurial journey easier. But most importantly, my husband, because of him and his deep belief in me has made it so that on my hardest day, boy, have there been some hard days, ladies and gentlemen, I keep going because he is just the most incredible man on the planet. I mean, truly everyone should know Brad, but I tease because everybody wants Brad in his line of work because he's very, very good at what he does. And, I always say, well, I actually get Brad. But yeah, like, you know, if you're an entrepreneur, like, you have to be really careful. Like, for me, I've had a lot of flexibility because he is the major breadwinner, and because of his support. So those have been some of those gifts, and I would say all of those things can be possible for anyone. If you have no one that has your back, and this is a great thing that I heard from Terry Savelle Foy: surround yourself with big thinkers, and if you can't physically do it, you go do it by buying their book or watching their videos. And when everybody says you can't, you say, hold my coffee.
That is a
this.
message that we all need to hear, because it does get tough. All of the listeners who are entrepreneurs or thinking about it, it's going to get tough. You can surround yourself by greatness, by big thinkers, by people who have overcome challenges before, simply by watching the podcast or picking up a book, especially biographies, watching documentaries. They're not just like cliche inspiration. It's real life lessons on how to continue to like move forward and grow. So thank you for sharing all of these things. I hope that everybody learned a bit about how to do better sales and copywriting, how to keep pressing forward. Leah, you were a great guest. Thank you so much for being on Build Different with me. All right. Have a great day and a great holiday season as well.